cop?
Yeah, this guy probably wouldn't have been a great one. He did have a suspended license and numerous warrants out for his arrest. So you might not have wanted him to go be a cop. But yes, there should be other people who want to. But anyway, the police are saying if anyone has had any interaction with him or encounter with him, to please call the police.
Like if you got a ticket from him?
Yes.
Wait a minute. It's not valid.
Why is the cop taking cash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in jail.
Strange.
And this guy put me in jail. He had no authority to do so. This is now right.
So Kanye West is bringing his Sunday service to Detroit today. I had no idea about this until yesterday. Yeah,
Today's Friday.
I know. He's bringing Sunday service to Detroit on a Friday. The show is going to be for free, but you still had to get tickets, which sold out in seconds. It's going to be, at, what's it now? Not Shane Park, Aretha Franklin Amphitheater, which was Shane Park.
I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I watched this Netflix David Letterman interview where he interviewed Kanye, and it ended with the Sunday service that he does. But it was in this very small, intimate, almost, it seemed like a little bit of one of these dome, and it had all these neon lights. It was really kind of funky. And so I don't know what exactly it's going to be like at the Aretha Franklin band show, but...
Excuse my ignorance. Is it a concert or is it like a gospel feel where he's preaching?
Both. Yes, and yes. I mean, it's kind of like a church-like gathering where he does perform some of his music, but he also brings in local choirs and things like that. I think he puts like a spiritual tone on. I've never seen one, but I think it's everything you just said.
I'm not a big, we all have our preferences, shows we like, things like that. I really would recommend you guys and people watch this. It's like about a 45-minute interview with Letterman and Kanye. And I'm not I'm mostly aware of who he is and his impact. I don't listen to a lot of his music, but it really is fascinating. And you see kind of the bipolar nature of his personality. Because for the first 25 minutes, it's fascinating. I'm like, wow, this guy's a genius. He really is. And then all of a sudden, like, something switches and he goes off and then it gets kind of like weird and dark. And I don't know. It's fascinating. I was really interested. So I give it 5 stars. Go watch it.
Thank you. So a man caught driving with more than 1,000 marijuana plants in his van told police...
1,000?
It's gotta be a big
more than
van.
1,000. Yes, told the police that they were peppermint. So this was in Spain. Cops recently pulled this guy over. They found 1,130 marijuana plants in the back of his van.
11:30?
Yes. Yep. 11:30.
Yeah.
And his plan to get out of it was to tell the cops they were peppermint. However, obviously, the cops didn't buy it. And they also found $650 in cash and a contract for a boat in the van as well.
Okay.
Anyway, who was arrested?
I love the thought of him saying, oh, no, that's just peppermint.
It's nothing. It's peppermint.
Like the cops are
Peppermint
going,
plants.
oh, sorry about that.
Did he at least have like peppermint like air freshener?
No, and that's the problem. Yes, the cops did have noses, and it didn't work very well.
The arresting officers did have noses.
Yeah, didn't work very
As
well.
opposed to the guy in Flat Rock that could be a cop because you never know.
Another reason why he couldn't be a nose.
Yeah.
A cop. Or a nose.
So it's never a good idea to tell cops that you have a felony purse.
What is a felony purse?
Great question. It's
Thank
a
you.
purse where you keep all your felonies. So this woman was pulled over. She was a passenger in the vehicle. The cops asked, do you have any drugs on you? And she said, well, matter of fact, I have my felony purse right here. And it was just filled with drugs.
Wow.
I know what I'm going to get my wife for Hanukkah.
A felony purse. Yes. What is this, honey? It's a felony purse. What does it look like?
So she had this purse around her neck. It had 2 crack rocks, a small bag of cocaine, and 2 glass crack pipes.
Hey.
And she was arrested.
What if it happened like those pillboxes for like, the days of the week?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah.
Right in her felony purse.
All right, 6:30. Thanks, Heather. Coming up next, we're going to talk to John Ewing, our gambling insider, our line insider. He's been very good lately explaining what some of the big lines are and what they mean. We'll talk Michigan, we'll talk Michigan State, and we'll talk the Lions. Also coming up next, the Tigers make history yesterday at Comerica Park. 97 won the tickets.
Wenzel Buick GMC needs your vehicle. Get $5,000 minimum for your 2000 or newer trade when you upgrade to a new Buick or GMC at Todd Wenzel Buick GMC in Westland. For more info or to view their online inventory, check out toddwenzelwestland.com.
quirky little ballerinas and their parents are counting on me to get them recital ready. Plie in second position.
And I'm your Rite Aid pharmacist. The flu shot is no cost with most insurance and no appointment needed. So come join Lucy and get your flu shot at Rite Aid today. For everyone who counts on you. Vaccines available while supplies last. Age restrictions apply. See pharmacist for details.
Sandy, General Sales Manager here on behalf of Crestford. Are you sick of getting different price quotes from different car dealers? If so, shop online at Crestford.com. All you have to do is pick your vehicle and configure your own price and payment. Immediately, one of our trusted sales consultants will contact you through your preferred method of communication. Next, our experts will find you the very best payment at Crest. You want to make your next vehicle purchase an easy one. When you want the best, think of Crest. With 2 great locations in Settlement and Flat Rock. Visit us online at Crestford.com. That's Crestford.com.
There's nothing like meeting face-to-face. And there's nothing like Zoom to make that happen. Zoom lets you connect and do business across town or around the world. Zoom ties together all of your communication needs into one easy platform for video conferencing, phone calls, group chat, webinars, and your conference rooms. Connect easily from anywhere. Your mobile phone, your laptop, or conference room. Zoom is how business gets done. Get your free account at Zoom.com today. Meet happy with Zoom.
Do you want the job done? Or the job done right? If you're hiring for your business, you want it done right. You want Glassdoor. Simply post your job on Glassdoor and just like that, it's available to over 67 million job seekers. Glassdoor only matches you with the best applicants, so you can find the right fit faster in half the resumes. Plus, they're 30% more likely to stay with your company longer. Hire better, hire faster. Start your free trial today at glassdoor.com/hire.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Amazing. It's kind of like being showered with cash from above, which would also be pretty amazing. It's so amazing that millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. They just can't get enough. So whether it's raining down on your head or raining into your bank account, it's your cash back, and Discover is matching it. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/match.
A hyper-converged infrastructure simplifies your data center, simplifies storage, and simplifies maintenance and scalability. However, implementing all that simplicity can get rather complicated. That's why CDW has solution architects to help you cut through the clutter and determine the right workloads to move to a hyper-converged infrastructure to maximize productivity, increase efficiency, and deliver simplicity. Visit cdw.com/datacenter to learn more about hyper-converged infrastructure solutions. CDW, people who get it.
This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Mike Tapura of National Benefit Plans. For affordable life insurance, call 877-734-2200.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by the LaFontaine Automotive Group, the family deal.
13th play of the drive for Green Bay. A shotgun for Rodgers. 2 receivers right. Rodgers gets that way. Throws. Hit up in the air. Intercepted. Nigel Bradham's got it over the ricochet, and Bradham is brought down at the 21. The Philadelphia Eagles come up with a huge turnover. And the Packers are denied.
Yeah, it was right on the, and it could have been caught as well. That was at the end of the game. The Eagles beat the Packers 34-27 last night in Green Bay. That audio, by the way, Westwood won Iron Eagle. And so the Packers suffer their first loss of the season in Philly, and this was the storyline going into this game after they lost to the Lions on Sunday. It was a desperate team, and they went on the road and won at Lambeau's. That's a huge win for a team that a lot of people have as a Super Bowl contender in the NFC. So a biggie there for them. The Tigers lost to the Twins yesterday 10-4, the final home game of the year at Comerica Park. They'll play 4 games in Chicago this weekend, weather permitting, against the White Sox, 4 meaningless games. The Tigers finished 22-59 at Comerica Park.
Oh, you talk about their home field advantage, Jamie.
22-59, their worst record ever at historic Comerica.
What are the splits for when Heather works?
Ooh, I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know either.
Heather, could you do us a favor and go back over your schedule? Let us know
Oh my gosh.
which games they won and which
Please
games they
no.
lost. I mean, you could theoretically, if we were, I mean, this would be horrific radio, but maybe off the air, we could put our heads together and probably come up with many of with the 22 wins.
Yes.
You know, they beat the Nats. I'll never forget that. They beat the Orioles. Anyway.
They beat Berlin, right? Was that here?
No, that was down there. They do it here as well? I know they did it down there. Remember that was the game where they had like a 99.8% chance of losing? Anyway, it's time to talk about the weekend in football and the weekend in lines and the weekend in action that you may get involved in. John Ewing is here with us, as he is every Friday, sponsored by Action Network. Looking for an edge? Download the free Action Network app and get live odds and expert analysis for every game. And John joins us now. How you doing, John?
Morning, Colin.
Great having you on. We appreciate it. I want to talk about Michigan first, and we'll get to their line specifically against Rutgers. But we always hear that Michigan is one of the most popular teams for fans to bet on because they're Michigan. And there's Michigan fans, Michigan alums everywhere. Wasn't there a stat study more money was bet on Michigan to either win or contend for the national championship this year?
Made no sense.
At the start of the year. What is your reaction to what they've done so far under Jim Harbaugh?
I mean, the test is always Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
But this week, they're at home against Rutgers. They're huge favorites. The line opened 26, up to 28. They need a bounce back here after being embarrassed against Wisconsin a week ago. So most of the money in tickets, more than 70% of dollars are coming in on the Wolverines here. Like you said, this is a public team. Everyone, Joe Public is very familiar with the Wolverines, and then they're still ranked, which is always, going to also drive more money to them. Historically, though, ranked teams coming off the loss have disappointed bettors. What we've seen is since 2005, top 25 teams that lost their previous game have covered only 45% of the time against the spread. A lot of that, I think, just indicates that these lines are often inflated because the public thinks a team like Michigan is going to bounce back after being embarrassed. But these lines are so big, 4 touchdowns is a lot to cover even in college football. And that's what our power rankings have too, is that this line is probably just a little high. We have them winning by 24 points on average. So at 28, there's a little value taking Rutgers.
I'm just curious, when you guys, do your power rankings and things like that, is it like, okay, the line comes out Sunday, Monday you go to work and you're in charge of, X amount of games, somebody else who works for the Action Network has these games. How does that all go down? That stuff fascinates me.
Yeah, actually, we update our power rankings on Sunday morning with projected spreads for every game. So as soon as the lines usually open Sunday for the next week's college slate, you can go and find an edge right away. And often you can find some good value because the lines will be off early in the week. And, it's a process that's actually handled by one of my colleagues, analyst Colin Wilson, who does a great job. He really gets deep into the numbers on college football. So every time I reference a projected spread based on power rankings, it's based on his set of power rankings.
All right, well, let's go to the Michigan State. They are the up-down team of all time to me. I've been off every week because I've been overreacting to the week before. They had a convincing win last week at Northwestern. They're homecoming, Indiana, and the spread I'm looking at is about 2 touchdowns. What do you see in that game?
Yeah, party by the team here at home. Another game, a ranked team. They're getting a majority of bets. I got a couple indications that show Indiana is undervalued from a historical perspective. Got some trends pointing to them, and our power ratings have Michigan State winning by 9.5 points here. So I think both Michigan teams have inflated lines. They should win clearly, being double-digit favorites. But don't be too surprised if they disappoint us and take a winner.
All right, let's go to the NFL. The Lions, the home dog against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Lions obviously covered last week when they beat the Eagles.
Okay, I don't think this is disrespectful to say that the Chiefs are the better team, right?
No, not at all.
Not in Detroit, please. We've been watching this team for far too long.
What's your power ranking say for one playoff win since 1957?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, good. as a baseline, it's not hard for anyone to accept the fact that Kansas City is clearly the better team and rightfully should be favored. With that said, though, this line is 6.5 points. There's incredibly lopsided action. More than 80% of tickets and dollars are coming in on Patrick Mahomes and co. to cover here in this spot. But when we look at all of our data, this line just seems too high to us. Mahomes right now is on pace for over 6,000 yards and 60 touchdowns, which is crazy. But this Lions season is legit, top 10 in defensive DVOA, so they should be able to slow him down. And I think the offense is more than capable of at least keeping this game close. Our power ratings say the Chiefs only win by about 5 points. Our simulations only have them winning by closer to a field goal. So a lot of value here with Detroit. It's at 6.5. I see some 7. So if you want to take the home dog, wait until closer to Sunday kickoff. This line's going to go up. I think you can definitely get a 7, and maybe if you're lucky, even a 7.5. And then just historically as well, when two undefeated teams play, the home team has covered nearly 60% of the time since 2003, including 7-1 against the spread in week 4 or later. So not a huge sample size, but history, power ratings, and simulations all say the Lions are the right side to be on. Plus, you're getting to fade the public, which is always a good thing.
I don't want to misquote you here. Did you say history says the Lions are the right side to be on, John?
I know you guys have stuck me with that one playoff win since 1990 or whatever.
1957. 1957, actually, being a little more specific, yeah. And 1990 for that matter. All right, John, great stuff. Enjoy the weekend.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, we'll talk to you next Friday. There he is, John Ewing, sponsored by the Action Network. Looking for an edge? Download the free Action Network app and get live odds and expert analysis for every game.
Might have to change some picks here.
I'm going to change every pick based on what John just told me. I'm completely
I'm not going to
upside
change.
down.
I'm just going to stay with what I got.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
All
why
right.
I'm so bad.
It's 6:45 on 97.1 The Ticket. I believe we still have a NBA 2K20 game to give away, so be listening for that drop. Coming up next, we'll talk more about the Lions and the Chiefs, including a guarantee that I'm going to put out there and see if you agree with. 97.1 The Ticket. Congratulations to LaFontaine, the family deal. They've added another dealership up in Lansing. They now are selling and offering new and GM certified pre-owned sales, service, parts, and accessories. The LaFontaine Buick GMC of Lansing, formerly known as Glen Bugie Buick GMC. The LaFontaine family proud to add a third dealership. They now got the big 3 going in the Lansing market. The LaFontaines are all about customer service. They have a mission statement which reflects their entire business operation to build lifelong relationships that strengthen communities, connect families, and personalize the automotive retail experience. And I will add to that, they also give service that's second to none. I've been a LaFontaine customer, and I recommend it to anybody out there. To learn more and to shop thousands of new and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, go to their website, familydeal.com. That's familydeal.com. You can shop, you can make appointments for test drives, and everything else. When you think about LaFontaine, you think about the family deal, where it's not just what you get, it's how you feel.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
Well, there's still light traffic volumes on your drive this morning. No reports of accidents so far, but keep in mind there is still road work, a complete closure of Telegraph southbound between 5 Mile and 96 Jeffries. That'll be closed through early October. Detours are posted. Then heading to the northbound side, look for a left lane closure through the end of October. I'm Michelle Pena in the WWJ 24-hour traffic center.
Tires, Red Wings, and Pistons all play here. 97.1 The Ticket. This CBS Sports Minute is brought to you by Foundation Systems of Michigan.
I'm Roberta Jusena. I'm here with Bank of America's Detroit Market President, Matt Elliott. Matt, how are you helping to build lasting relationships in the community?
Well, the first thing we do to build lasting relationships in the community is go get out in the community ourselves. Like myself, most of the 2,000 people who work at Bank of America and Merrill here in the state of Michigan are from Michigan, and so we're personally invested in the success of Detroit and the growth of the state of Michigan.
What type of local partnerships are you currently involved with?
We're generally involved with local partnerships and local organizations that are built around workforce development and social and economic progress, around workforce workforce development, for example, we work with Grow Detroit's Young Talent and other organizations that help get people on that first rung of the job ladder. For example, this summer we sponsored 130 students through Grow Detroit's Young Talent, and we're really proud of the fact that a couple of those students who have been working in our financial centers, one in particular, his name is Delonte, we hope to bring him on as a full-time employee. He didn't ever think of a career in banking 6 months ago, and we can't wait to make him a banker 6 months from now.
Thanks, Matt. Find out how Bank of America can help you at bankofamerica.com or stop by your local branch.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. We'll also have a dolphin chatter excitedly in front of the perfect candidate. Okay, there's no dolphin, but skills tests, that's for sure. See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
We're celebrating 85 years of low prices at Meijer. Come join us this Friday and Saturday for anniversary deals like 85-cent per pound Meijer whole fresh chicken, 85-cent bell peppers, 85-cent American Greeting value cards, and more. Plus, get $85 off your next shopping trip when you buy an iPad or Apple Watch. Celebrate 85 years of great deals and low prices at Meijer. Why pay more? Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Bill Brown Ford in Livonia. Right now, Bill Brown Ford would like to introduce his new sales team members who are going to do everything they can to get you into that new Ford car, truck, or SUV. Leading off is Scott Doherty. Next up, Al Rivas. And we round out our lineup with John Engler. No, not that John Engler. All three of his new team members are here to give you the best car buying experience. Stop in today and meet the new team members at Bill Brown Ford in Livonia.
This is the last week to save. Flame Furnace is offering 10% off inspections and 5% off any residential HVAC equipment. The sooner you schedule, the better the deal you receive. Call Flame at 888-234-2340 or go to flamefurnace.com.
Cash the Tickers, a Money podcast.
We are incredibly excited. It's Cash the Ticket. It is time for all of you degenerates to dive in, put yourselves in irreparable personal debt, all in the name of entertainment, and it's our job to help you not get there. Good luck to everyone. At a minimum, we hope it was informative. At a maximum, well, maybe it lines your pockets a bit. So
Cash the Tickers. Radio.com and iTunes. Get the real story on your favorite NFL teams from the guys you know are telling it like it is. Live from Music Town, Detroit, inside Hockey Town. Game day, uncensored, starts Sunday at 9 on 97.1 The Ticket.
Somebody's driving her fantastic.
Line drive, base hit into left field off the bat of Jonathan Scope. Down the line, over the field it is Dixon. Scope will turn and hold. Sharp line drive single. Got a slider that caught enough of the plate. Drove it into left. 2-1 Twins.
On a Friday morning, I did put up a tweet at around about an hour ago with the standings in the NFC North that said, if the playoffs started today.
Season ended today.
If the season ended today. And the reaction has been mixed. Obviously, some people are saying, classic Lions fan, Kool-Aid, etc.
People know we're just having
joking around. Because first of all, the season doesn't end today.
Yes.
And second of all, the Lions, so this is week 4, and the Lions have yet to play their week 4 game. So after the Packers played their week 4 game last night, they're 3-1. Once the Lions play their week 4 game, there's a very good chance that the Green Bay Packers will be back in first place.
Yes, and if Lions lose, as many people expect, they'll be 2-1-1.
Actually, they'll be in third place because Minnesota plays Chicago. They're both 2-1, and one of those teams is going to be 3-1. So,
Can you imagine a 3-way tie at 2-1-1? The Vikings and Bears tie?
I can't. I don't want to think about it because my head will explode. So I was thinking about different ways of talking about the game on Sunday, and I think...
By the way, standing room tickets are available.
It's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun atmosphere.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's Alumni Day. They're going to announce the Alumni Day. They're going to announce the all-time team.
Oh, is Calvin going to be there?
He probably didn't make it.
offer you, and I know this is just one of these fictional bar conversations, but I'm going to offer it to you.
know that.
And you tell me if you're taking or you're giving back, okay? Thanks, Brent. I will give you a win this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You will beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and for 2 weeks, because the Lions have a bye after this town will be jumping.
Yeah.
But I'm taking a loss to the Green Bay Packers. So you're going to come out of the next 2 games 1-1, but the win will not be against your divisional foe. It will be against the Kansas City Chiefs, arguably the best team in the AFC.
Okay, so we're taking a home victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Lions would win. They'd be 3-0-1 heading into the bye. They'd be the big story on Get Up and, NFL Network, and Skip Bayless will be arguing with Shannon Sharp. Are the Lions for real? We'll all get excited, all that kind of stuff. Jamie, I'm going to take that great win. It'll be so much fun. I'm so psyched I'm going to be going. I'm going to take that win and just throw it right back in your face. You got to have the Packers game in Lambeau, division rival. It's not even close in my mind. Always take on the division rival, especially if you have to beat that awesome Packer defense that we saw last night.
But you understand.
I understand. There'll be a lot of joy in this town.
No. But you understand that I'm not offering you the alternate. I'm not saying you're going to lose to Kansas City.
No.
I'm saying you could go 0-2. I'm giving you a win in the next 2 games.
Oh, I thought it was one of the others.
No, of course you. Look, if the question is who would you rather beat, the Packers or the Chiefs, the answer is the Packers. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
Einstein knows that.
Yeah.
And he's dead.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why I said that. I'm saying I'm giving you 1-1.
Yeah.
But you're losing to the Packers. Or you can say, you know what? Let it roll. You're going to roll the dice, hoping you can go 1-1 with the win being the Packers. Or you know what? Dare I say, 2-0?
I'm gonna play it safe. Take the Packer win.
You're not getting a Packer win. Listen to the options
You're
here.
saying 1-1.
No, he isn't. He's guaranteeing you the Chiefs game, but he's guaranteeing you a loss in a Packer game. The alternative is no guaranteed win.
I'm giving you the Chiefs win.
Okay.
Okay, here you have 2 options on the table.
Yeah.
Okay. One option is you beat the Chiefs and you lose to the Packers. The other option is real life, where you're going to play these next 2 weeks and find out what happens.
Well, I'll take the win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll take a guaranteed win.
You'll take a guaranteed.
Because they could be
But a guaranteed loss.
But they could be, 2-0. If they have the guaranteed win, that means they lose to Green Bay. Is that what you're telling me, right?
The 7th time, yes.
Yes, well, that's what I said before.
Let's replay this segment.
Yes, that's what I said before.
No, I know. What I'm giving to you is I'm giving you a guaranteed win, but I'm also giving you a guaranteed loss.
Right.
But in the other scenario, you could go 2-0. You could. You could also go 0-2. And you might end up 1-1.
I'll take the win. I'll be the wussy.
Okay.
Take the win.
Okay, Gov.
I'm going for it.
You're rolling the dice. Look at you.
Well, it's okay. He's backing up his NFC North there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
I understand
I would rather have the opportunity to at least win in Green Bay, have the chance.
I would
because
too.
it's the more important game. And as much as I just want Sunday for them to compete and hey, don't get embarrassed. And then you got to bye. The Packers have to go to Dallas while you're on a bye, and it's Monday night in Green Bay when you finally take the reins of the division.
See, that's what I'm thinking. And I don't know what's going to happen between now and then. Who knows? There could be injuries, or whatever. But I think the Lions can go into Green Bay. I mean, the Lions haven't lost in Lambeau in years.
2 of them. They won their last 4 games against the Packers. Rodgers didn't play at all, though. I understand that.
I like how you just said 2 of them. Yes, Lions have not lost in Lambeau in 2 years, believe it or not.
Since?
Now, I think an alternative to this, and
There's no alternative.
I'll give a credit to a Carson Anderson caller a few days ago, made a great point that all the NFC North teams play Kansas City, Chargers, Dallas, and Philly. And the Lions are 2-0 in those games. Packers lost one last night. The Packers could now go 0-4 in those games, meaning that maybe the head-to-head game in Lambeau isn't as important because the Lions, you guarantee this winner. Now, 3-1 in those games at the worst. And like I said, the Packers could be 0-4 legitimate.
Yep.
And so that's a 3-game,
248-539-9797 is the phone number. Are you taking this deal that I am offering? I have the power to offer it. I was authorized by some of the powers that be. Congratulations to Jeff from Plymouth. Jeff heard Brent Musburger say, Manscape, and he was the 7th caller. So Jeff from Plymouth has won himself a copy of NBA 2K20 for PS4. Finally, NBA 2K20 is out now. Year after year, this proves to be the best NBA video game of all time. Be the next NBA superstar with NBA 2K20's Story Mode, which was executive produced by LeBron James and Spring Hill Entertainment. NBA 2K20 is out now on Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, PC, coming soon to Stadia, rated E for everyone. All right, it is coming up on 7 a.m., 248-539-9797. We're talking about the Lions and the Chiefs. Coming up next after Tony's sports update, I'll be curious to hear what Tony says about this as well. We do want to talk about the game on Sunday, and I don't know that I remember a game quite like this. And look, the Lions have played every sort of game, so I'm sure it's happened, where there's this much excitement and yet this much, not pessimism, but it's almost like not expecting to win. I mean, it's like you got a date with the most popular girl in school, Heather, and you know that there's no long-term success for the relationship, but still, you got the date.
Right, and it'll look good on Instagram.
It's going to look great on Instagram. Maybe, just maybe, you get a kiss at the end of the night, but you know that this
Don't
is
count
like,
on that.
no, okay, well, maybe not with her. but still, you got the date. Could it turn into something? I guess there's a chance, but the odds are very slim. But you did get the date. What are you expecting at a Sunday's game with the Kansas City Chiefs? We'll talk about that next, but first here's a sports update with Tony on 97.1 The Ticket.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. A radio.com sports station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Mother Waters. The Tigers tie a record for the most home losses in a single season as they fall to the Minnesota Twins 10-4 in yesterday's final game of the year at Comerica Park. That setback, the 59th home loss of the season for Detroit, that ties the mark set by the St. Louis Browns way back in 1939. It's a final day of work at Michigan and Michigan State today as those teams get ready for a pair of Big Ten home games tomorrow. The Spartans will take on Indiana in East Lansing, while the Wolverines will clash with Rutgers at the Big House. There's Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh on the message he had for his team this week, coming off that disappointing Week 4 loss to Wisconsin.
This game is the most important game. That's the message.
The Rutgers game.
Yes. This game, win the next game. That's the most important message. And putting in the plays and the defenses and the schemes, to win this game is where our focus is.
Other games of local interest in college football tomorrow. Central Michigan battles Western Michigan. Wayne State tangles with Saginaw Valley State. Lawrence Tech is home to take on St. Francis of Illinois. Thursday night football last night saw the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the Green Bay Packers 34-27. Green Bay's loss now means the Lions sit alone in first place in the NFC North. Meanwhile, according to a story posted by reporter Tom Curran, New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick and owner Robert Kraft disagreed on the decision to cut Antonio Brown last week. According to Curran, Kraft wanted Brown cut, while Belichick reportedly wanted to keep the former Central Michigan standout, but eventually went along with Kraft's decision. Red Wings pick up their 4th win of the preseason last night as they defeat the St. Louis Blues 4-1 in a game played in Calumet, Michigan. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
Jamie and Stoney on 97.1 The Ticket.
7:02 on a Friday morning. Good Friday morning, everybody. It is the Jamie and Stoney show here on 97.1 The Ticket. Jamie Samuelson, Mike Stone with you here, along with Heather and Tony and everybody else as we get you set for a football weekend. Michigan and Michigan State. Kind of both with ho-hum games tomorrow following games a little bit more sizzle last week.
Yeah.
I mean, the Michigan State game was a walkover, but there was some excitement heading in, and obviously Wisconsin was one of the games of the week, at least before the game started. And then the Lions with one of the more exciting Ford Field games in a few years, for sure, in terms of the anticipation leading up to the game. We're going to do our picks coming up at 7:30, and as I was looking at the Lions in this line, I'm not going to lie to you, like most, I'm tending towards the Chiefs, but visions of that New England game last year started creeping into my head, and I remember going into that week, and granted the Lions were not unbeaten coming into that game, but there was this this general feeling, oh, how can the Lions win this game? I mean, there's just no way the Lions can win this game. It was. I mean, I thought Brady would have a huge night. I thought that Gronkowski would go for 120 and maybe a couple of scores.
Right.
And the Lions shut him down. I mean, the Lions pretty much dominated that game.
I don't think that's going to happen. Patricia v. Belichick, who you take it?
Well, exactly. I don't think that's going to happen on Sunday. I just don't see it. What was the Patrick Mahomes has never scored? You looked it up yesterday. He's never scored. A Chiefs offense under Patrick Mahomes has never scored fewer than 28 points. Is that right?
26. 26.
26.
Yes. He scored 30 or more in all but 5 of his NFL career.
Yeah.
First time since high school, or first professional game in the Dome.
Well, this is dating back to the start of last season. I do know he did play at the end of the 17 season. I did not look that up, so I'll clarify that. That didn't matter. It wasn't the offense.
No.
He's been the true star.
It's crazy. So, I mean, I think it's a fascinating game. I think the Lions are playing with house money.
So do I. I mean, look, winning that game in Philly, you look back, you sit there, woulda, shoulda, it should be 3-0, but who the hell knows if the other teams, do they go the same way if the Lions win the Arizona game? I don't know, but you're playing a team that is really, really good, really fun to watch. It's going to be an amped-up atmosphere. I mean, people were excited to go to this game anyway, because people, the next time Patrick Mahomes is playing in Detroit is probably in 8 years, something like that. So this is a great opportunity to see a great player. And now that you have a team that's actually, they're not great, obviously, don't get me wrong, but they're in the early hunt for your division. I mean, they're in first place as I'm speaking right now.
Mm-hmm.
It just amps it all up.
Right.
And unfortunately, I mean, if Slay can't go, I think that is going to be huge.
I totally agree.
Mahomes picks apart great secondaries, and you have a situation where your best cornerback's not going to be there. If that's the case, that's going to be tough.
You know what? Even if Slay can go, which I don't think he clearly won't be 100%. But he'll be, if he can go, he can go. But then, how do you use him? I know Matt Patricia and Paul Pasqualoni. So Matt Patricia has ideas on how to use him. But they have Kelsey, they have Watkins, who's obviously off to a great start. They have Robinson. There's a lot out there. So it's not like
playing really well for a rookie.
Like against the Chargers 2 weeks ago, they clearly put Slay on Keenan Allen with the hope of shutting him down, and he didn't.
No.
He got torched until the very end of the game when he had the pick. So even if you have Slay out there, how do you basically unleash him against the Chiefs offense? I don't know.
I had made the point to you yesterday, Jamie, out there, that the 2 Patriots games the Chiefs lost last year, they scored 71 points. Okay? That's incredible. I just don't think you can stop this. I think you can slow it down. Ross Tucker said it yesterday on the show, that he thinks that the game plan will be to make them go the length of the field, no big plays. That still is going to get you. I don't see how the Chiefs don't score 31 here, and I don't see how the Lions score 30. To me, this reminds me of, and I'm going a little far back, some people remember this, 1991 when Florida State came into the big house.
Oh, yeah.
And Michigan tried to score with them, and eventually it just broke. The seal broke, and Amp Lee was running all over the field in the second half. They hung with them the first half. Yeah. And I just think it's like the Rock Show is coming to town. And you're close, and that Michigan team was pretty good, but they're just not on that level.
Didn't Leroy Butler have a pick in that game for Florida State?
He brought
Terrell Buckley.
Terrell Buckley, first pass by Gervais. Michigan hung, and you hung, and the Lions just don't have that offense to hang for 60 minutes.
Well, here's the question. Do you try to milk the game where you run the ball a lot or short passes and use the play clock till the end? Now, to keep their offense off the field, it makes sense. However, if you do that, you're limiting your own possessions so it's kind of like a catch-22,
exactly.
Right?
So this is going to sound really crazy, okay? But if I'm Matt Patricia, I'm saying I have to score 34 points this game no matter what. That's all. So that's how I'm going to run my offense. Yeah, I have to score 34 points.
I'm not a big fan of tailoring your offensive game plan to the other team's offense. I think you have to tailor your offensive game plan to their team's defense. I think when you start trying to, I understand with the question, I thought about the same thing, but I think then you start playing mind games with yourself. You play mind games with your team. I think my concern about the Lions is the same concern we've been talking about following each of their 3 games, and that is, while they've done the things to win the games, and I'm taking the victories, I'm not apologizing for the victories, etc., they LA scored essentially 2 touchdowns on the same drive. Both got called back, and Eckler fumbled at the 1-yard line.
Right, and then the Eagles dropped pass after pass after pass.
Including a touchdown pass to Goddard.
Yes.
And, even though I gave Trey Flowers credit for a great play on Monday, it was just a straight drop by Nelson Aguilar on the fumble. Now, Miles Sanders, that fumble was jarred loose by Kennard, but it wasn't exactly covering up the football. And they also gave a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. I don't want to say the Lions, they're terrible. They're just lucky to be 2-0-1 because you have to put stuff out there to be 2-1.
But when you look at their resume, they don't look like a really good team right now.
Yeah, and you've got to be that on Sunday. Now, does that mean the Lions can't come out and play their best game? Of course not. They can, absolutely. And I like the thought of Matt Patricia, who I think is a very good schematic defensive coach, kind of going into the lab and trying to come up with a way to slow down Patrick Mahomes. My problem is no one has figured that out yet. And I don't know if the Lions have the skill on defense to be that team that somehow figures out a way to stop Patrick Mahomes.
You just got to go with the math of it, that they've scored 30 points in all the